afternoon guys, welcome back to our channel. Hope you've had a good week. It's Friday here for us. So this is a returning customer. He has got a Mercedes that Mercedes E-Class estate, funny enough, that we've done Apple CarPlay and reversing camera for. But he loves this SL350, 2008 model. And you know, it is an older model, but still got some real sleek, stunning lines. And that's nice with the roof down. But unfortunately, with a lot of these cars, the technology in them is so outdated that probably even 10 years ago it was outdated with the way that we all want and use our smartphones and everything else in vehicles. So it's been into us for the last couple of days to remove this Mercedes fitted COMAND system. Now this particular COMAND system weighs an absolute ton. So probably also doesn't help with fuel economy. But either way, this COMAND probably had Bluetooth in, because I've got the Bluetooth buttons on there, and very basic out-of-date maps with some funky colours. CD, DVD drive and other bits and pieces, but it of course, it integrated as nicely and smoothly as it could do with the Mercedes system. A lot of these cars were amplified with fibre optics, so when you're taking these apart and upgrading to modern technology, you need to cater for all of those bits and pieces, and there will be things that are lost as soon as you remove this, potentially menus and other such stuff, but at the same time you might lose USB, well actually 3.5mm jack functionality, but why would you want that in a modern world anyway? So what we've done is we've stripped out this COMAND system. We have fitted a reversing camera. We've also fitted the Alpine ILX-705D, which is the 7-inch digital media receiver. As with all of these vehicles, when you're trying to fit an aftermarket reversing camera, this is where your skill, technique comes in, and experience as well, because the dead center of the car is here. You can't fit that because that's how you open the boot lid. On the left of that you've got the lock, and on the right of that you've got a blank with a big chunk of metal behind it. So then you've got your number plate lights, so you start to sort of move out towards the sides of the car. But you can't help that, because nobody wants to have their bumper drilled with an old-fashioned camera from 15 years ago, and you can't have anything else on here. I don't think the customer would be too happy if we fitted a commercial one on top of his boot lid. Anyway, we've done one of our neat little black metal wedge cameras, and if the camera comes over here, I'll show you what Richard's had to deal with today and yesterday on this vehicle. So the hard top is all contained inside here. You can still have a little bit of access to the boot. But once all this has been apart, Richard's then had to route all the cabling in, down through, along, and then you've got all the intricate mechanism for the boot. Because of course, when you're opening the roof on this whole boot lid opens up and folds back. So you have to have and allow for all of that movement for the camera, because if you don't, it's going to work once and then that's it. You're going to break the cable and you're going to create yourself another 4 or 5 hours of work. What Richard's done on this one is made sure that the connection for the camera is somewhere in this area, so that if the camera was to fail, we can then replace it without having to replace the whole of the wiring loom. But you can see here the intricate detail, and that's the reason why people come to us and specialists, because of the fact that this is not something that you can do with just very bare minimum of experience. This takes time and skill to do it. So cables all running through there. Once you get into the boot lid, your next challenge is then running it in back through. There aren't many places, so this is where a coat hanger and a torch comes in, because you've got to find a decent way in through another wiring loom or a grommet into the actual back seat of the area of the car and then through to the front. So that's the reversing camera done. So we're going to shut that. Hopefully Sammy's got some nice shots of that. One thing I would say just before we head off to the front, that Richard has made a point of putting a slight angle on the reversing camera, because if it was absolutely dead facing back, you're going to have a bit of a blind spot over here. So what he's done is he's just added a slight angle on the reversing camera just to try and compensate a little bit for that. But as with all of these things and customers, we said to people, look, we don't have a magic wand, we can't fit it in the middle, we have put it here, but we have tried to help a little bit with that. Right, that's reversing camera in for you. Now we're going to move to the front of the car and show you the Alpine ILX-705D fitted in with an aftermarket fitting kit and all of the wiring loom to allow for the things like the steering wheel to work. You can already see what a massive difference it makes having that old COMAND unit removed, although it did fill all of this sort of area here. We've now got plastic trim here that caters for the excess area, because this is a 7-inch system. Behind there you've got a fitting cage, and then we've got our wiring loom that will talk data in for the steering wheel controls and everything else. So let's just put the ignition on, and the Alpine's just booting up. Nothing really changes apart from the fact that, of course, without the key in the ignition, you probably would have got the command to come on to listen to FM or CD. Yes, this has still got FM, but it doesn't have CD because it's mechless, it's a digital media receiver. So I'm just going to turn the volume up a tiny bit. Well, let's select radio first. Go just turn down there. So Richards has got his phone connected to wireless Apple CarPlay. He's already changed the wallpaper to black, which is how we like it here because it's just nice and clean. If I go into Google Maps, selected satellite view, and now you've got a beautiful car. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto, FM, DAB, USB, Bluetooth streaming, tidal access, and all of your mod cons that you're going to get with Apple CarPlay. For me personally, I use BBC Sounds, I use Spotify every single day. Having access to the phone is nice and easy because you've then got Siri, so you can do voice control and you can reply to messages as well as call people all from your voice. There's a microphone fitted above my head near the interior light. Again, it is in keeping with the vehicle, and because of the age of the vehicle, this Mercedes wouldn't have come with a DAB antenna, so we do have to fit a glass mounted aftermarket one, but it doesn't really matter, they're all amplified and it works quite well. So if we hit the main menu button here, you can already see a greasy fingerprint on there. So now if I go to here and I press the dedicated camera button, that's the reversing camera image that we see up on the screen. And if I start the engine, let's see if I can do that without, yeah, I can. So pop the car into reverse gear and we've got a really nice clean image. If you want the Alpine guidelines, you can set those guidelines up and adjust them to how your vehicle is. There are a lot of people that just don't want the guidelines, so would never have these on, but if you do want them on, you can adjust them. Now, because this is a Mercedes, the factory fitted parking aid, if the camera can just zoom up here to this top dash, you've got your segment display for your parking sensors. The left-hand side of the car is picking up on something pretty close, and then the right of the car isn't. But it doesn't integrate with the Alpine, it's completely standalone. So we've got a display up on the dash and a rear audible buzzer. So we can take the car out of reverse like so. Let's just get rid of that fingerprint. And once you've done that, you've got simple access to everything you need. If you still listen to your FM stations, that's fine. If we go into the radio here, you've got your DAB, you've got your FM, so you can choose any one of your favorite stations, providing you've got signal, and save that as a preset. And that's it really. I mean, steering wheel controls, what more do you want? You just really want to be able to answer and end your phone calls, volume control up and down, and if you're listening to a playlist or changing the radio station, you can use that functionality as well. Nothing really lost, but lots gained in this car, because this customer is going to be able to drive this with the roof up or the roof down, stay in contact, and also be able to navigate and listen to his music in ease, with style and effortlessly. So this is a 2008 SL350, had a command system removed. We've retained all of the audio system that came from factory. We've retained the steering wheel controls. We've given it dual USB in the glove box, and that's it, job done. Website links in the bio. If you've got a car like this and you've been worried about who to go to, what to have done, get in touch with us via the contact form. I'm sure we've been there and done it before. If not, it doesn't really make any difference. This is what we do for a living. Next video that we're going to shoot in the next 10 minutes is on a 2011 Porsche Boxster, who's had a similar makeover, but with some really cool audio stuff. So keep watching for the next video. That's also got an ILX Alpine in there as well. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.